Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the first time I've streamed. It's been a while. I've missed talking to you guys, and today we're gonna be covering the PD lawsuit. Lawsuit. I'm not gonna cover the whole entire lawsuits because we'll be here all day if that was the case. But I will be looking at the recent filing that has been done by jazz musicians, but by jazz musician, let me just get a name. I literally just it blanked in my head right now. Rodney Jones, that's the one. Rodney Jones. He is a jazz musician, 6, 7 years of age, and is claiming way more than just sexual harassment. A lot of people are basically involved in this lawsuit, and I have some opinions in regards to it, which is the main reason why I chose to do this stream. So yeah, welcome to back to the Dr. Heinz channel, or if you're new here, hi, welcome. I go by the name of Dr. Heinz. If you don't know me, and we cover legal cases on this channel, and we may aim to bring you as much information as possible in regards to legal cases and entertain you as well. So without further ado, we're just gonna go straight to this case because he's been known. He's pretty much shaped my childhood, if I'm being honest, and he has been pretty much prolific in the 90s, responsible. Well, people would disagree, but he was very responsible for the rise of Biggie Smalls and his music in the 90s. He has so many hits, but at the same time, it didn't. It's like he has his personal life in the music industry that a lot of people are aware of, and we're talking about it even back then. And it seems like when it rains it really does pour, because ever since New York gave this statute of limitations lift, or temporary lift, for like a year, which would be from 2020. Don't quote me on this one, but I believe it's 2023, late 2023 to late 2024. So it's just a year, and there's been a lot of lawsuits filed. Other lawsuits that have been filed includes lawsuits against Vin Diesel, and that's all I can remember from the top of my head. But Diddy has been one of one of many celebrities that has been filed against, and it began with Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, who you may have known from hits like Me and You, Long Way to Go, etc. She she was the first one to basically lift the lid all of this, and I characterize her lawsuit to be one of those, the one that opened the floodgates. If I don't think that's the proper saying, but basically, her lawsuit is the one that has led to so many other lawsuits being filed against him. I think three in total or four in total, if I'm not mistaken. But we're gonna cover this one today. Cassie's lawsuit was actually settled in record time of like 24 hours, or maybe even less. And I didn't cover that. I thought that would be the end of it. I literally didn't think anything was gonna come of this, but more and more lawsuits have been filed. This one really got my attention because it really included receipts, but you know, uh, but yeah, let's just get into it without further ado. But make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit the share button, and also, let your friends know about this stream. Thank you, everyone, and all those that are tuning in and lurking, in behind, uh, the the stream. So we're gonna get into it. Let me load up the document. So it is as follows. Here we go. Oh, I think yep, I think that's it. I'm a boomer sometimes. I must admit. This is page 11 of the lawsuit. It is a 73 page lawsuit, so I'm gonna split this stream into part 1 and part 2. because there's no way we're gonna get through all of this on, well, that's if you want to go through all this. So just point of note, if you do want to see the whole document and have my reaction and opinions in regards to this, let me know and I'll do a part two. But at the moment, I just want to provide, like, I just want to see where it goes, and pretty much provide my take or reactions to it. I don't want to keep this stream too long. I'm aiming for 45 to an hour. So it's not going to be long by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a very, very long code read, because I saw this really gain steam on Twitter, and I really thought, right, I need to cover this. So going back into going back into the complaint that has been launched by Rodney Jones, and of course it's a civil action, and he's demanding jury. This was the part that really caught my eye, because because I've never seen a lawsuit, or should I say a civil filing, that includes a true. I've never seen it. This could be my experience, my inexperience showing here, and me not knowing how these things work. But I've never seen a filing that has begun with a trigger warning. Like it says, this document contains highly graphic information of sexual nature, including sexual assault. Additionally, there are graphic images of the aftermath of a shooting, redacted images of coitus intercourse, redacted images of little people, sex, coitus workers, prostitutes. I think you're allowed to say that on YouTube. Details of coitus trafficking, or coitus moving around, and the illegal distribution of water pistols. Nah, damn it, I killed it. And drugas. So from I'm going to be doing that a lot. I'm going to be substituting a lot of words just so that I can keep it YouTube friendly and not be limited with ads, because or anything like that. Because the lawsuit is very, very graphic. But once again, if you are logged in, thank you so much for tuning into this. Rodney Jones is a guitarist, and I don't, I mean, I don't know anything about him. I'm not gonna pretend like I do know anything about him. Uh, but apparently he does have a bit of notoriety. Um, again, I don't know anything about him, so I can't opine to his talent or anything like that, or his popularity, because it's kind of out of my field. I do listen to jazz, but it's not where I'm searching up the artists that I'm hearing. It's just like easy listening, you put on and then you forget for a minute. That's my style anyway. So the court that is been filed in, I'm trying to find it. It's been filed in the state of New York. And yeah, I said, so we're gonna go straight into the filing. And this is this is what this is the it's so wild. But he put up this, I don't know why you would put up this picture. I don't know. Like I completely, like, but it gives off the background of I think this is his son, and his and his and Sean Combs. So it's not just one person filing this; it's a multi-suit complaint where there are multiple defendants being named as evidenced here in all of this. So many, so many defendants being named, but yeah, let me just get into it, because we'll be here all day if I was to go through all of this. But I uh I still, so far, I don't know. I don't actually know what exactly he is alleging damages for, because that should really be here, around here. Um, but it's really, really not. Actually, no, I may have missed it. Nope, I didn't miss it. I still don't know what the suit is about. So we may get some answers as we uh go down. Summary. So basically, uh, he gives a bit about himself. You can go learn about who Jones is. I will say right off the bat, looking at a lawsuit like this, it does two things. I think it aims to it takes itself too seriously, and I don't mean that in a mean way or trying to cheapen it in any way. What I'm trying to say is it's as if I want you to believe me, so I'm gonna provide as much information as possible. But at the same time, this can, in my opinion, it can come across as if you're trying too hard, as if you know that there'll be a lot of eyes on this document. So it it makes it I don't know I don't know. I'm not gonna win by opining by opining in the manner that I want it that I want to opine on it, but it just I'm not getting good vibes from it. Let me put it like that. So summary of events. Well, I have my judgments, prejudgments, but I'm gonna put that aside and I'm gonna read all of this to see what's going on. So from September 2022 to November 2023, Mr. Jones produced 9 songs with Mr. Combs' Love album. Let me go to that Love album. I think I'm not sure if that's the one that has uh let's see, this is the Love album. So I'm get nope, this is not it, that's not it. I got it wrong. Got it wrong. Let me yep, I searched the wrong term. Okay. So I believe this is the one, Love album of the Great 2023. So this is a recent album that he's done. So from what I'm guessing here, yes, yeah, I got the wrong one. From what I'm guessing here, this suit would be irrespective of the statute that's in place. It is well within the statute of limitations. So from September 2020 to 23, Mr. produced 9 songs. Mr. Jones lived with Mr. Coombs for 9 months at a time, spending holidays and birthdays and missing major family events. Mr. Jones resided at Mr. Coombs' residence located in Los Angeles, California, blah blah. Throughout this time with Mr. Jones, Mr. Coombs, sorry, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went up far beyond his role as a producer on a Love album. This is what I don't get. This is within the statute of limitations, so it doesn't really matter whether a temporary was granted. So I am looking for. I hope a criminal complaint, actually does accompany this, because he's filing a civil suit. So if all these things were happening based on what he's alleging, surely a criminal complaint should follow this. But I'm going to continue reading on. I don't know what's going on so far. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. So it says the claims raised in this complaint have been corroborated through witness statements, video, and all the recordings and images of that Mr. Jones has in his possession. Hey Yelly Bean, welcome to. I just saw your message. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, let me just continue reading this. Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to record him constantly. On several occasions, Mr. Combs took Mr. Jones' cell phone and began recording himself. And as a result, Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage, audio recordings of Mr. Combs' staff and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. This is why I said I hope a criminal complaint is following this filing, and you're just filing to get attention to put the district attorney, I believe it will be Alvin Bragg's office, on high alert. And it will be very interesting to see how Alvin Bragg does react to this, because it is well within the statute of limitations for any charge that could be brought, from what I'm seeing here. Again, no lawyer. I could be chatting pure BS. I have no idea. So moving on, Mr. Jones have secured irrefutable evidence of the acquisition, use, and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GB, ketamine. See, this is what I'm saying. Okay, the displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms. Mr. Combs provided lace alcohol beverages to minors and sex to I think I can say minors on YouTube, but coitus workers at his homes in California, UK, New York, and the U.S. Virgin Islands and Florida. Mr. Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, instructed her staff to retrieve drogas so she can provide it to Mr. Combs for his consumption. Christian Combs drogando and coitously, um I don't want to say that word, a woman, Mr. Combs, detailing how he planned to leverage his relationship with Mr. Bishop Jake TD Jakes to soften the impact on his public image of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. Okay, pause. I'm going back to that date. Let's go back to that date. This is November 2023. When did Cassie file? I don't think Cassie filed in November. Because he's saying, remember, he's alleging. Again, I'm not saying I don't believe this guy. It could happen. But he's saying from this time frame to this time frame, it could have happened. Sorry, not could have happened. They were recording. So all this time from this time to that time came a myriad of allegations that he's making now. What time? When did Cassie file? Because I know it was. Let me just search settlement, because that's going to come up a lot more than the actual lawsuit. And I know it's the next day, so it's not really gonna matter. You know. Okay, so this was November 2023. I don't know why I thought it was June for some reason. So yes, it was November 2023, and it is in. Yeah, that was me going off on a tangent. I completely forgot the date. I don't know why I thought it was sometime in sometime in December, January. So let's move on. Yeah, I remember now. Of course, it was before the majors trial. Of course. Anyway, um, let's move on. So we find, yes, okay, there we go. Mr. Jones lived with no, we already read that. Young man. Okay, so he's alleging here. Yeah, so Mr. Combs detailing how he planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.J. Jakes to soften the impact on his public image of the lawsuit. We've been through that. Young Miami's cousin and or assistant, coitously, I'm not gonna say that word, Mr. Jones, actor Cuba Gooding Jr. coitously harassing, I think I can say harassing, and I'm not gonna say that word, Mr. Jones. Rapper redacted on Mr. Jones' yacht, consulting with underage girls, coitus workers, and R&B singer redacted in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home, consulting with underage girls and coitus workers. So I don't know why he's redacted these ones and but left Cuba Gooding Jr. there. But let's begin. Chalice recording studio shooting. So on or about September 12th, 2022, Mr. Combs held a writers and producers camp at Chalice Recording Studio at Island Avenue, LA. Present at this time were Mr. Combs, is his son Justice Combs, and Justice friend named G. Mr. G is a 30-year-old African American male. In addition to these individuals, other musicians were present at the camp. This writer has spoken to several musicians who attended the camp. One evening during his camp, Mr. Combs, J. Combs, and G were in a heated conversation. That conversation was moved out of the studio and into a restroom adjacent to where Mr. Jones was sitting. Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when gunshots rang out. Mr. Jones recalled hearing multiple gunshots. Okay. Footnote says the writer with several apologies for that. Footnote says the writer with several employees of the yacht rented Mr. Coombs in the U.S. Virgin Islands, who personally witnessed the defendant quorum instruct has staff Brendan Paul, Frankie Santella, and Moy Buon spoke bottles of champagne with ecstasy. All right, a complaint is forthcoming. He is a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Oh, come on, man. Why did you redact it then? We already know who that is. Ugh. The only rapper to ever date Nicki Minaj is Meek Mill. So I understand the memes behind that. I'm gonna go straight to the comment section for a bit. Because I actually do remember seeing memes of but I didn't understand why this was actually why the memes were actually being shared. I was like, oh, okay, but why sharing McMill? And that now it makes sense. I'm gonna show a couple on McMill. Um, and let's go back into the reading. So Mr. Jones immediately went into state of shock and feared that he would be shot next. Mr. Jones generally believed that he would be shot through the door due to how close he was. After the shooting ended, a crowd gathered and around the restroom. When the door finally opened, Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs, and Jay Combs, which I believe would be PDD in this case, exited. G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and breathing out of his leg and hip area. Everyone stood around looking upon G, frustrated with by the lack of aid to G. Mr. Jones dropped everything, ran to G, and immediately began placing pressure on G's gunshot wound to his stomach. As he was applying pressure on his stomach, Mr. Jones realized that G was gushing blood from another area near his leg and hip. He decided to lift G and placed him to sit on the toilet. Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Mr. Jones lifted G and brought him to the ambulance at studio's front. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared to another part of the studio. Mr. Coombs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that's the that's the receipts that he's provided to show what has been reported to the to CB no KCLA KCAL California, I'm guessing. Mr. Jones has several corroborating witnesses who spoke with this writer anonymously due to fear of retaliation from Mr. Combs. They have agreed to speak publicly when subpoenaed. Mr. Jones has the clothing he wore that day and believes it may still have stains and DNA of G's blood. The following are screenshots of the aftermath where G was shot by either Mr. Combs or J. Combs. So he does provide receipts. Um, so he was there, but again, I don't know what he's alleging here. I'm struggling. I still don't know what he's actually alleging. What damages are you after? Because these are mentioning other people. So I what has he done to you? That's what I'm wondering, because that's why you file a lawsuit. Someone has wronged you in some way, so you would go out and try and get retribution through the legal system. Retribution by may be the right justice. Sorry, not retribution. That may be the wrong word to use there, but you get the idea. You get justice from the legal system by using these means. So I am very intrigued. I still don't know what is actually. I know what he's alleging now, but I don't know why he's bringing this lawsuit because I'm trying to like put it all together. Clearly, G was not shot outside of the studio as Mr. Combs instructed his team to report to law enforcement. Mr. Okay, apologies for that. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that. I think that's my fault. Let's go back to where we stopped. Apologies for that. Let's go back to okay. So, oh, there we go. So it says it. So he says it, the security was porous and lackluster at best. The fact that even Mr. Combs and Jay Combs were allowed to enter CRS, don't know what CRS stands for, so still forgive me for that, with guns, and those guns were not confiscated by security is a clear breach of duty by Mr. Combs. Defendants LR, MR, and UMG to protect Mr. Jones and other attendees of this writers' camp. So okay, so again, I don't know what words to use to mask all this. YouTube is funny sometimes, but I'm gonna try and stay. Yeah, anyway, so moving on. As a result of this shooting, Mr. Jones is severely traumatized. Mr. Jones now suffers from PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, and insomnia. So it might be infliction of emotional distress. That might be what he's proceeding with this shoot for, but again, he's saying that this is what he's alleging he suffered from. So I hope that's why he's bringing his lawsuit to charge him for those things. But I don't. I think you need something to accompany the charge. You can't just allege on its own infliction of. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like you need to allege something more concrete than just that happened to you for as a result of his actions towards you. Does that make sense? Not towards. But anyway, no lawyer. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. Nothing is really showing to me why he's bringing his suit. Mr. Jones was okay, sexually harassed and assaulted by Mr. Combs. So I think we might be getting somewhere now. Finally, throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of the constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his whoa, touching of his anal beads. I still said it, so it doesn't change anything. But he is alleging here that he was touching his anus in regards to all of this. So uh there is an imagery for you, if you want to something to go to bed at night. You firmly have an imagery of someone's anus being touched. So it's all fun and games at this point. Right. So these events took place in LA, New York, and Florida, and the state and the United States Virgin Islands. In addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to walk to work in Mr. Combs' bathroom as Mr. Combs walked around naked and showered in a clear glass enclosure. As a heterosexual Christian man, Mr. Jones was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and expressed his discomfort to Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, KK. Okay, so I think even if you were, metrosexual, bisexual, homosexual, I think you would still find the sight of that pretty disturbing. Even if you were atheist. Anyway, so, but that is key here because he has now alleged that he's told Christina. I want to know if Diddy is gonna settle this lawsuit or he's just gonna let it go, like let it proceed. I actually wonder. KK responded to Mr. Jones' complaint with, Sean, Sean will be Sean. Sean will be Sean. Okay. Uh, KK attempted to downplay Mr. Combs' groping of Mr. Jones' anus and genitals as friendly horseplay, stating that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you, Mr. Jones. So let's go back to who KK was at the start of the fighting, where the characters were being set for this. This is KK for this filing. So this is KK. Yeah. So let's go back into that uh, reading. Despite these assurances on several occasions, when Mr. Combs began to undress and walk around the house, his house naked, KK would say, "Okay, I'm leaving now," and she would disappear. KK's hypocrisy is breathtaking at best and enabling at worst. Mr. Jones believes that KK aided and abetted Mr. Combs' sexual assault. Coitus. I don't care. I'm gonna get demonetized anyway, and was working with Mr. Combs. I don't want to get limited. I don't know why YouTube has such stringent rules. But anyway, with Mr. Combs to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship. Okay. Through these sexually deviant acts, one would say Mr. Combs has a pattern and practice of engaging in such nefarious activity. This ongoing conduct shows that Mr. Combs cannot be rehabilitated. I don't know why that's relevant, but could go into, uh, again, I still don't know what he's actually charging with here with or looking to sue for. Mr. Combs attempted to groom Mr. Jones into engaging in gay sex. Mr. Combs was aware that Mr. Jones looked up and idolized music producer Steve Aaron's Jordan, Stevie J. Stevie J is an American DJ, record producer, and television personality. Stevie J was part of Babel Records production team, The Hitmen. In 1997, Stevie J won a Grammy for his work on P. Diddy's debut album. Throughout the late 1990s, Stevie J produced for several artists, including Mariah Carey, Tevin Campbell, the B.I.G., 112, Jodeci, Faith Evans, Jay-Z, and Eve. Stevie J was one of the producers on the Love album. Mr. Combs used Stevie J to use access to Stevie J and his knowledge of Mr. Jones and admiration of Stevie J to groom and entice Mr. Jones to engage in homosexual activity. In homosexuality, sorry. Mr. Combs went so far as to share a video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male without a con. Okay. This was done to ease Mr. Jones' anxiety concerning homosexuality. According to Mr. Combs, this is normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it. Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he had engaged in sexual intercourse with rapper Redacted and R&B Redacted and Stevie J. Mr. Combs promised to make sure that Mr. Jones win Producer of the Year at Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. Oh my God. Okay. The following are screenshots of the video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male that Mr. Combs, provided to Mr. Jones. I'm weirded out, guys. I'll just say it. I'm weirded out, guys. Like, this is I've never seen a lawsuit allege so many other people in it, and we still haven't got to the point where what has he done to you? Because the only thing, it's not centered around him, and the only thing I'm seeing is that it's inappropriate touching. So that is sexual harassment. On and sexual, sorry, that is sexual assault, sorry, because it's unwanted touching and it's not consensual as well, and it's around the genital area, where harassment would be around the arm, etc., or a non-sexual place. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that right. Again, He's a rapper who dated. Oh my gosh. I don't know why you redact it and then put it in a footnote. This is weird to me. But we're moving on. He performed at the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. This writer is we know who this is. He performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful successful Vegas residency. This could be the R&B, right? Actually, this could be the R&B singer. This writer is in possession of the video and will provide a copy to the court. Miss Momo, hey, welcome to the chat. First time seeing you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see what you have to say. So, some porn star came out. Some corn star. Redact everything I just said. Some corn star came out and admitted that he was in the video, not Stevie J. Is he gonna get a settlement? Okay, I wasn't thinking of Usher, by the way. I actually wasn't thinking of Usher. I wasn't thinking of Usher when I was saying that. I was actually thinking of, for some reason, I was thinking of one of the artists that he used to manage back in the 90s, because it will be a stretch for, anyway. Let me do a poll really quickly, because I want your opinions on this one. How quick do you think this case is going to? No, you're fine, Momo. You're fine, Momo. Blue Queen TV, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So let me put this question to you guys. I want you guys to tell me, do you think that this is going to result in a settlement? Forget the pace of it. I don't want to know the pace. I don't want to know how quick it will result. I just want to know if it would result in a settlement like it did with Cassie. The other lawsuit that was brought against him, I actually don't know the details of that. I pretty much stopped caring after Cassie. Like, I saw another one being filed. I didn't look into it pretty much. But I don't know if that one has been settled. But do you think? Let me just write it down. Do you think this lawsuit will reach a settlement? Yes, no, maybe, and don't know. Okay, so let me know what you're feeling. I will revisit that poll in, let's say, I don't know how long, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we will see what people say. So Blue Queen TV says Vegas plus Super Bowls equals Usher. Okay, thank you. Again, I don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I missed it. I know that I did know Taylor Swift was performing in it, so, and that was from Twitter, but again, not really. I'm not into all of that. People were commenting on it. Miss Momo says, I think so, because he has some type of evidence. Yeah, I mean, the pictures I'm seeing here, it would suggest so. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. I'm not saying, oh, by the way, I'm not saying that none of this happens. I am also not saying that I am for or against Diddy in any way. I just thought I made that clear. A lot of me, I am very tongue in cheek, and you will never know which side I'm on until it goes anywhere. So you will. So please don't draw inferences until I make a definite claim that this is where I'm standing. Until that happens, don't draw inferences, because like, I literally go all over the place. So I just want to put it out there, so that if someone comes in and be like, hey, you support Diddy because of, I'm like, no, like, I will make I will make light-hearted fun everywhere. Everyone gets it. Everyone, no one is safe. Nobody is safe. So let's go back into before we go back into this. Sorry, not before we go back into this. I had a thought in my head, but it's escaped me right now. So let's go back into this whole debacle. Right. So lawsuit. So Thanksgiving 2022, Mr. Jones is sexually assault coitously, not gonna say that word, by Young Miami's cousin. I have heard of Young Miami, never heard. Believe it's a, I believe it's a guy. Never heard his her music. Such an old guy. I'm not even that old. I'm 32. I used to be a DJ. So but I left the profession to 2020, so I really haven't kept up with music. It's just my library now that the songs that I enjoy. I haven't kept up with new songs. I have always been a lover of the noughties and 90s, so forgive me if I sound like a boomer and sound like I don't know these young kids that are out here performing. That's, there are certain artists that I listen to nowadays, but not all of them. I don't know who Young Miami is. Oh, okay, so she female cousin again. That doesn't tell me anything. And her female cousins. Oh, okay, it's a girl. This is embarrassing. I, I could have just everything that I'm saying. I could have just read, and then it would have cleared things up. But anyway, that's what you're here for, right? To to see me mess up like this. Let me move on. Mr. Combs was intoxicated and offered baking soda. We're gonna call that word baking soda. I'm not gonna get demonetized by YouTube or so. Mr. Combs was intoxicated and offered baking soda to Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones rejected him and proceeded to walk to the restroom. While using the restroom, Young Miami's cousin burst into. Why would you use her name anyway? Young Miami's cousin burst into the bathroom and began groping Mr. Jones. So this is not even him. What? This is not even. Anyway, Mr. Combs believes you don't have proof. Anyway, you don't have proof for this assertion. You should be launching this suit against Mr. Jones. Sorry, not Mr. Jones. Young Miami's cousin, whoever that is. You should be launching this suit against him. Cousin is him, right? Cousin is him, right? Damn it! I should know this. Cousin, can it be both male or female? Oh, it's gender neutral. So okay. So, thank God I'm saved. Okay, so I don't have to sound stupid for that one. I mean, it's kind of too late now, but at least I've got some kind of consolation. Um, Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs sent her in there. So it's a guy. It's a girl. Moving on. Mr. Combs sent her in there to sexually assault, to coitously, not saying that word, Mr. Jones. Okay, so right, but you should be giving this suit against Young Miami's cousin, not against Diddy. That's not making sense. That's not. As she entered the bathroom, she dropped to her knees and began performing on Mr. Oral coitus. She began performing oral coitus on Mr. Jones, exposed. Thinking about this word carefully. Chat, chat, chat. Do me a favor. Come up with a word that can be substituted for the P word. I don't want to come up with a word for that. I'm actually blanking right now. So Blue Queen TV says she didn't perform at the Super Bowl. Her BF was just playing in the game. Oh, and she was watching. Okay, well, all I heard was Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. That's all I heard for the duration of the Super Bowl. So yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So let's go back. Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mr. Jones' rejection, and she proceeded to follow. I guess I understand what she's saying, because if Diddy asked her to do anything, she would do it. But again, you kind of need proof for this. She started undressing and attempted to straddle him and have coitus with him in the presence of Mr. Combs and his staff. Blue Queen TV says, maybe the argument of this lawsuit is that it's mental stress. This person had to go through in working with Mr. Diddy. I don't disagree. You can file emotional, but I usually, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't know. I probably should have asked a lawyer for this, but usually a lot of those intentional infliction of emotional distress is usually accompanied with, let's say, they're claiming damages for sexual battery or what not, I have no idea, but let's say that they're claiming for something like that, that would accompany it. So I'm not seeing that being levied. He's alleging it, but I'm not seeing it in formal. Yeah, this is what I'm bringing my suit for. I want this. I want this. I want this. Maybe we'll see at the end. I have no idea. Some of the claims are speculative. Diddy's lawyer might be able to get this case dismissed. I actually think so. It might not even need to settle, to be honest. It might not need to. I actually agree with this, Miss Momo. That's a very good point there. Because like some of the just that last part we just read about the oral, let's say it happened, how do you exactly, just speculating, how do you know, how do you even come to the conclusion that they sent her to come and do oral coitus with you, but yeah, let me know what word you would substitute for a male genitalia. I actually blanked out when I was trying to say the word. Well, I can't say it on stream, but let me know the substitute for the thruster. I'm not gonna call it thruster, but just to give you an idea. Let me know in the comment section what word you would substitute in there for that, so that I can use it on stream. So it says, so going back into the reading, it says, once again, Mr. Jones pushed her off. The following are images of a video of young Miami, her cousin, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Combs. Mr. Jones and Mr. Combs on Thanksgiving Day. Mr. Combs invited Mr. Jones into the restroom. Invites Mr. Jones into the restroom and attempted to force him to take baking soda. Young Miami and a female cousin who coitously, not gonna say that word, Mr. Jones on Thanksgiving Day 2022. Okay, I don't know what young Miami looks like. Is she the one with the bucket hat? Let me know in the chat. I could just Google this. What am I doing? Let me just Google what young Miami looks like so that I actually know the difference. Okay, she's not the one with the bucket hat. Sorry. Wow. Okay. Moving around, and Victims Protection Act. So moving around. I don't know if you can say the word that rhymes with traffic lights. I'm not sure if you can say the word on YouTube. So I'm just trying to move through here. So throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was transported from California to New York, Florida, and the United States Virgin Islands. During this time, Mr. Jones was forced to solicit coitus workers and perform coitus acts to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. On or about February 4th, 2023, Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring prosies and coitus workers. Aren't they the same thing? Anyway, and coitus workers back to his home in Miami, Florida. So the writer is in possession of the video. Will provide a copy to the court. Wow. Okay. I mean, there does seem to be merit. I mean, if he does have all this evidence, there is merit to the claim. But again, how many can you actually? Could it be dismissed? I have no idea. But this is he claims to have evidence to all this, so it could survive a dismissal. The coitus workers that Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring back to his home on about February 2nd, 2023. Incident: Mr. Jones believes Mr. Combs drogando him. Mr. Jones recalled waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He was in bed with two coitus workers and Mr. Combs. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. The reason why I'm substituting words a lot is because I have been uh my ads have been limited so many times during the stream, so I'm just trying to control for that. So apologies for the substitutions. I don't know what word is safe, what word is not safe. It's not really clear. But anyway, these are the coitus workers in Mr. Jones' bed the morning uh after being given medicine, given illegal medicine. That's a good replacement. After being given illegal medicine, forcing him to feel a certain type of way, allegedly. Can I say allegedly? I'm reading a lawsuit filing, so it should be fine. On another occasion in Miami, Florida, on Thanksgiving night of 2022, Mr. Combs asked Mr. Jones and DeForest Taylor to enter the studio bathroom. He asked them for $100 bill because he wanted them to do baking soda with him. Mr. Jones was scared, but luckily he didn't have $100 bill. So Mr. Combs waited a little later to do baking soda with to do their baking soda with Young Miami. Later that evening, he required Mr. Jones to solicit coitus workers from booby trap on the river located. Wow, talk about alignment here. Like you couldn't you couldn't have wished for a case that would bring us together. Anyway, Mr. Jones did so. Mr. Combs forced him to engage in unsolicited coitus acts with these workers. Again, I don't know. Is it different? Is it different with the? Isn't prosy the same as coitus workers? Should be. I mean, I don't know. Booby trap on the river. So let me read some of the comments out. Miss Momo says, if you don't properly state your claim, it will get dismissed. Yeah, I believe so. So on, I haven't read the full thing. I haven't read it at all. I've only the snippets that you saw in the intro is literally it's literally from a picture from Twitter that I saw. So this is a code read. I don't know what's coming up. Usually you would assert what you're charging for at the start. From what I've seen from a lot of the lawsuits I've read, it's usually laid out before going into this. But it's going into this first. So I'm really anyway, moving on. Ms. Momo says it doesn't matter how much evidence you have. If you don't file and state your claim properly, it will get dismissed. It's called motion for summary judgment. That okay, very good. That's true. That is very true. Momo is on game today. Momo, if you like legal cases, make sure you subscribe. I have a ton to cover next month and April. A ton, a whole ton. So, but I am really happy that you know a lot in regards to the procedures around cases like this. So I gives me an idea that you are a legal buff. Anyway, moving on. As part of Mr. Jones' coitus worker recruitment tools, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it to booby trap on the river as a signal to any coitus worker he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. Mr. Jones had no desire to visit booby trap on the river. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit coitus workers from booby trap on the river. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting coitus workers from booby trap on the river. As detailed below, Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control of Mr. Jones. Apparently, these workers were accustomed to servicing Mr. Combs and would know that he is in town by the sight of the baseball cap. Okay, the following are Instagram profiles of two of the sex worker coitus workers. Damn it. Of the coitus workers that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and have coitus with at his home in Miami, Florida. Oh, Miss Momo says that she is a paralegal. Oh, wow. Okay. Connect with me. Connect with me. I am on, let me go back to, I am on Twitter. You can see it right there. You can connect with me. That is my Twitter handle. You can also see it here. I want my circle to be as full of legal professionals as possible because I am covering a lot of legal cases coming up. So yeah, I would love to get your insights in a lot of these cases that I cover, whether it's on or off camera, or like on stream or off stream. Sorry, I meant to say, but right. So going back into the lawsuit that's been filed, Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have coitus with the individuals in the previous paragraph. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting and sleeping with these. The following is the phone number of another coitus worker that Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and perform coitus acts with as his home in Miami, Florida. Okay, so he's got the number. Again, he does have evidence of all that he's alleging, but I'm still waiting for the charge. Let's hope it comes. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have coitus with the individual in the previous paragraphs. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into sleep, soliciting and sleeping with the individuals above. Didn't he already say this? Why is he repeating himself? Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control of Mr. Jones. He promised him a Grammy for a producer of the year for the Love album. He offered $250K to purchase all $250K to purchase all the instruments he wanted. He promised ownership of his $20 million property, One Star Island in Miami, Florida. He promised access to record label executives like the defendants Lucian Charles Grange and Ethiopian Hapti Mariam. I hope I pronounced that properly. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face and inform Mr. Jones that he's willing to kill his mother, Janice Combs, if he must in order to get what he wants. Threatening his own mother? Okay. So he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. Okay, I get it. Okay, fair enough. So I saw a tweet by in regard can't find it right now. Let me try and look for it. Okay, so I'll get back to that tweet because it is pretty important to why there has not been, why all of this, so many people, other people, not him, Mr. Combs and J. Combs solicits drogas, engages in illicit coitus acts with minors and coitus workers. On about July 2nd, 2023, in California, Mr. Combs had a listening party at his home. Present at this party was R&B artist Redacted, J. Combs, coitus workers, and some underage girls. These are serious allegations, by the way. I'm not can't sue for defamation either because, of course, it's a legal filing. You're pretty much protected from that. The event began at 7 p.m. Mr. Combs requested female coitus workers and required Mr. Jones to solicit them. An hour later, several coitus workers appeared. In addition to coitus workers, there were at least 5 women in the crowd that were under the age of 16. Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink de Leon liquor. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with oh, what does X? What does E look like? Okay, I'll just call it E. With E, Mr. Combs did not check the identification of any of these underage girls. The presence of these underage women made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable. He attempted to leave, but Mr. Combs forced him to stay. Mr. Combs went so far as to take Mr. Jones' car keys to prevent him from leaving. Actually, Momo, could you please help me out here? I actually want to ask you while you're here. When filing a lawsuit, can you only file the charge of intentional infliction of emotional distress? Let me know in the chat, Momo. Based on your paralegal experience, what you've experienced, because I've never seen intentional emotional distress file as a sole charge or complaint. I've never seen it. I've always seen it filed on top of a complaint of, let's say, defamation, of, let's say, swatting. I think you can file that. Something has to cause it. If that, like, I've always assumed that to be the case, but I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case, because sometimes it could literally just, it could be that yes, you can file it on its own. I have no idea. So help me set that record straight. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so back to the reading. After being forced to drink Lay's the Leon shots, Mr. Jones began feeling lightheaded and recalls passing out and waking up at 4 a.m. the following morning naked with a coitus worker and sleeping next to him. Screenshots of a video from the night is embedded below. Okay. Okay. Mr. Combs attempts to pass off Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. I don't know why he's getting strays in this, but Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Combs' yacht. During the introduction, Mr. Combs suggested that Cuba get to know Mr. Jones better. He then left them alone in a makeshift studio on the yacht. So they did actually meet. Mr. Combs and Cuba Gooding Jr. moments before Mr. Jones is assaulted. As evidenced by a video of which screenshots are embedded below, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching and groping and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, then charge him. His upper thigh. Wait, is he listed as a defendant? If he is, then you don't need to charge him individually. How come I've been shouting that? Yeah, just hit me. You can just list them as part of the defendants. Why would you keep mentioning them if it's not listed as defendants? I thought that's why you were mentioning, because you wanting. Okay, then charge him separately. What? Then charge him separately. I don't understand. Okay. As evidenced by a video of which screenshots are embedded below, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching and groping and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, his upper thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders. Mr. Jones was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. The following is a screenshot of the encounter with Cuba Gooding Jr. Oh my God. Again, charge him. Charge him as well. Make him a defendant, or at least charge him Can you charge him? I think is he going to is he already going to prison? I'm not sure. There was a case he was involved in. I'm not sure if if he's been convicted. Anyway, moving on. The Love Album. So throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was under an implied work for hire agreement. He was not compensated for his time living. Is this what the suit is? Lack of payment? Is that one of the charge? As evidenced, he was listed as a producer for the following songs on the Love album's final release, Deliver Me, Stay, whatever. Mr. Combs and defendants OMG all benefited from Mr. Jones' work product. They failed to compensate Mr. Jones for his work. As a result, Mr. Combs and defendants UMG were unjustly enriched at the expense of Mr. Jones. If this is all you're filing, it's gonna get thrown out because you're not showing anything. I mean, the fact that I even said for the time under an implied work for your agreement, this is going to be thrown out. If that is all they're fighting, if that's all they're asking for, this is gonna get thrown out because it's just all that he said before till now is irrelevant. Mr. Jones attempted to work with Mr. Combs to secure his publishing and royalty rights for the work he completed on the Love album. Mr. Combs only offered Mr. Jones 29,000 for 13 months, thousands of hours of work, and 9 songs that made it to the Love album. Ironically, Mr. Jones was willing to take 50K, his publishing and royalties. Mr. Combs' self-serving greed would not allow him to pay Mr. Jones additional 21K. So he was paid. He just wanted an additional 21K on top of whatever amount he's paid, because I don't know. So what was he actually paid? Because he says he was willing to take. Mr. Combs only offered 29,000. So it was just an offer. He didn't take it. 29,000. He wanted 21 on top. So that would be 50K. Mr. Combs' deceptive business practices was, this is, it's not gonna go anywhere, to be honest. Like that's what I'm saying here. Mr. Combs' deceptive practices became so bad that Mr. Jones was left with no choice other than to make a public plea on social media for Mr. Combs to pay him for his work. After publicly requesting that Mr. Jones do the right thing and pay him fairly, Mr. Jones received an onslaught of friendly messages from Stevie J and Love Records A&R DeForest Taylor. So he did receive this. Okay. Wow. DeForest friendly Mr. Jones. Again, Miss Momo says, whatever you're claiming, you're filing, your points have to prove that the defendant violated that particular law, of course. Plus, you also have to submit citations to show other cases that are similar to support your argument. Yes, of course. Yeah, and that's something I'm really hoping that we actually get to. I wouldn't have led with this because I'm pretty sure the judge, if they're reading this, I know they're supposed to be fair and impartial, but they're humans like me. They probably already have a bad impression already just by how it's laid out. I don't know who wrote this, but it's not getting to the point because I don't know why he's bringing this. Yes, salacious allegations, but why are you bringing this for real? Sorry, not salacious, wild allegations. That's probably a better word. But why are you actually bringing this? On another occasion, while standing in Mr. Combs' bedroom, Mr. Jones was forced to watch as Mr. Combs displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with shooting people. Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in a nightclub in New York Rapper City with Brother Shine. This is never gonna get solved, is it? But it says Shine did it. It's giving anyway. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer J Lo, carried the gun into the club for him, passed him the gun, and he got into an altercation. J Lo is catching strays too. Oh God. Sean Combs, Jennifer Lopez arrested after NY shooting. Oh gosh, I didn't even know about this. Why is I actually didn't know about this part. I actually didn't know about this part. This is okay. The shooting in Charlie's recording studios confirmed by Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs' statement. What statement? These statements reinforced Mr. Jones' fear of Mr. Combs, and no, for you to call something a statement, it has to be actually stated, expressed. You can't just call words that you heard a statement. Maybe utterances, but not statement. I don't know. I wouldn't call them statements. I always view statements as something that is expressed on paper or something, text message, whatever, something that you can see and read for yourself, like a witness statement. What statement did he provide? Anyway, Mr. Jones was terrified of Mr. Combs. He felt like he could tell him no. Mr. Combs consistently made it clear that he has immense power in the music industry and with law enforcement. Mr. Combs made it clear that his head of security, Fahim Mohammed, had the power to make people and problems disappear. Okay, so that's Fahim Mohammed. I'm not sure. Was he the same one that was with Megan the Stallion? Meg the Stallion? Was he the same bodyguard? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. But that name does sound familiar. Mr. Combs instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Mohammed if they ever pulled over by the police or in Miami or California. Upon information and belief, Mr. Mohammed spoke with LAPD after G was shot at CRS. The LAPD was in CRS. Again, I don't know what CRS stands for, so sorry about that. And witnessed the blood in the restroom. And they went with the bogus claim that the shooting of G was occurred outside the studio. This was all thanks to Mr. Mohammed's connections with law enforcement. Mr. Jones had no reason to disbelieve Mr. Combs, as he had seen firsthand through the shooting of G, the subsequent silence of the LAPD and the media that Mr. Combs indeed had power to him. The LAPD spent hours in CRS after the shooting of G, yet there were no arrests. Mr. Jones witnessed the LAPD in a restroom pictured above, yet no arrests were made. The morning after the shooting, Mr. Jones and several others arrived at CRS, and G's blood was still on the floor of the restroom, and Mr. Combs hired a cleaning crew to clean it up. So I'm gonna read this on the part two. I'm gonna come back to this on the part two, but I'm gonna Blue Queen TV says, I was actually thinking this entire time, who wrote this, a lawyer or an actual person, or the actual person who didn't go to law school fighting for this claim. I don't blame this. This is interesting because before this stream, I'm talking literally, I would say half an hour before this stream, I saw a breakdown thread. I only read the first part, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. So I read the first 2-3 parts, and I was like, yep, I'm definitely including this on my stream. It was by Nadi, the lawyer chick. She has also covered this. I haven't watched her coverage. You can go watch it. She's a great person, and also being a guest on the channel as well. So it was good to see insight on this. And I'm going to show the tweet right now. Before I go there, let me just read this. I don't like Diddy, I never have. However, his lawyer can pick apart this case. Yeah, he can even do it pro bono. I actually see that probably happen. He'd be like, nah, you don't have to charge me for this. I got this. I got this. He can also file a motion to suppress some of this stuff. It looks like this lawyer is submitting evidence. To be honest, what can suppressing really do? Screenshots have been taken already. Like, what can suppressing really do? It's obviously it's only provided screenshots, so it does exist, but it's already out in the ether now. So it's pretty much, yeah, we might never, yeah. So it could help in the sense that we are never going to hear the audio or the videos ever in the future if that suppression was to be successful, if that request was to be successful. But I think, I mean, to be honest, I don't think there has been any much damage done. I don't know how much damage you can do to Diddy's reputation at this point. Not in the sense that he's uncancelable, but in the sense that pretty much, but in the sense that pretty much so many things have come out of him that it kind of makes him defamation proof, because his image is kind of tarnished from from the Cassie lawsuit and the subsequent lawsuit, that you can pretty much say anything now, and people be like yeah or no, and no one really cares. So that's the part I'm coming from. I don't know what use, unless you really drop this, or yeah. So I do see merit to what you're saying, Miss Momo, in regards to getting the suppression. Yes, it would do a lot of good, because this stuff, at least in Diddy's perspective, it would do a lot of good, because at least he doesn't get to release it after fighting the lawsuit. That makes sense. So let me just go straight to the tweet, if I can find it. Where did I put it? Right. Okay. So, not Naughty Lawyer Chick did do this tweet. So it was here. I'm not sure if, let me know if you can see it. But yeah, so she did do. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, I did not know that's what suppressing means. So let me just go back to the chat screen. I did not know that's what suppressing means. Suppressing it means that it can be used in determining if it's guilty or not. So I'm confusing it with not a gag order, but gag orders for speech. But what would damn it? I'm thinking of something else. It did. Let me know what that term is called when you can, maybe no, not subpoena, because that's to bring in the record. Maybe I don't know what it's called if you're trying to stop somebody from releasing a record. Maybe it's a gag order. Maybe it is a gag order, and I'm just simplifying it to mean words that you can speak. Maybe it's gag order, but um yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what is called, Momo, in the chat. What is called when an individual is going to is when the defendant in this case would seek to have the plaintiff not release any documents, sorry, not documents, any medium or any material that has been alleged. They can't use it as evidence. It won't be admitted. I know, but what I'm trying to say is that in terms of them putting it out there themselves into the media, if that makes sense, like like them releasing it, could that be stopped? Is basically what I'm trying to ascertain. Okay, so before I go um into the tweet, I'm just gonna end the poll. So I did end the poll. 4 votes. 75% of you says that they will reach a settlement. Another person says no. I'm guessing that will be Momo. I'm guessing that is a dismissal or a voluntary withdrawal. That's what I'm guessing. Right. So let me just go straight into reading this. So not lawyer chick basically says, oh, gag order. It is gag order. Yay! Got it right. Woohoo! Okay, I need to open up my book again, because I haven't read it. Anyway, moving on. So it says the newest Diddy lawsuit is very unprofessionally written. First, these pictures of the people involved is unnecessary and serve no purpose other than to be entertainment for the general public. You don't need put pictures of parties. This one is particularly shady, and it's a thread, and we're gonna go right into that thread. Second, there are references to celebrities that pretends to redact their names while giving the reader obvious clues to who they are. Was pointing that out. Just name the parties. We know definitely they were who they did Nicki Minaj with Meek Mill. The wording is sophomoric and childish. I love Nat so much, man. I love her so much. This guess the celebrity naming choice is most all the more bizarre, because the only thing they redacted celebrities are accused of doing is having consensual sex with Diddy. That is not a crime or a tort and should not have been included in the complaint. It proves nothing. Yes, I've been saying yes, it does. I don't know why he was actually mentioning this at all. In because I'm trying to see, I'm trying to be like, what did he do to you? Because that's why you file a lawsuit. Someone has done something to you, and you're seeking remunerations. If that's the right word, right? So, damn it, you go back. Went too far down. Right. So it says, and it's okay. So I believe this would be a lot. Oh, the reader might make it a bit easier for you guys to see. Nope. Oh, well, sorry about that. Let me try and make it a bit easier for you guys to see this. Oh, I can't make it easier for you guys to see this. I don't think it was even a lawyer that wrote this, to be honest. I actually think I wouldn't be surprised if it was just him. I actually agree with Queen TV here. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was him that wrote this and just sent it to the judge. And he just knows how to write and articulate himself on paper. I would not be surprised if that was the case. So, flipping heck. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Let me take it off. Reader, flipping heck. I'm having. Sorry, guys. I'm having my boomer moment again. So, let's go back into this. Okay. So and it's harassing of those people. Lawyers should avoid that. Another thing that concerns me is that there are there are provable false provably. Another thing that concerns me is that there are provably false allegations. Allegedly, Diddy showed the plaintiff of the video Stevie J having consensual gay sex. Well, that is not Stevie J. It's Knockout McQueese. Left, Knockout McQueese, right, Stevie J. That is something attorney should research before filing. That's not great. That's not a great start. And I believe this is what you're talking about, Blue Queen, as well. Kudos to you. Shouts to you. Another concern was the description of assaultive events when he didn't name people who allegedly assaulted him as defendants. Young Miami's female cousin assaulted me. Here's a picture of them. What are their real names? Why isn't the cousin named defendant? That see, this is I actually I'm glad. I normally I try to avoid Twitter if I'm covering something. I try to avoid Twitter in relevance to this, but Nat's post popped up as I was just scrolling through, and I'm so glad I I am going through this, or at least going go going through it, because she's methodically picking it apart. But again, the same concerns that I had reading this. Like there should have, like, these guys, especially Cuba Gooding Jr. Let's be honest, Cuba Gooding Jr. should have been a named defendant in this based on the allegation. But the fact that he's not even a named defendant is very sus to me. And I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt in the sense that these are things that could have happened, but you're not seeing anything to tie him and bring these guys into court. Nothing. And and you don't even know if he's charging these guys separately for something else. It doesn't exist. Criminal charges, where are they? I would also go for criminal charges. Anyway, finally, my biggest problem is that the plaintiff implicates himself in committing. Maybe that's why there's no criminal charges. Okay. Finally, my biggest problem is that the plaintiff implicates himself in committing crimes. He said he procured sex workers for himself to sleep with for parties, and that Diddy courts his workers to sleep with and for parties, and that Diddy didn't check IDs and some of the girls were underage. So your attorney is incriminating. I don't think an attorney wrote this. There is no way an attorney wrote this. I actually don't think an attorney wrote this. I don't know what competent attorney would not have spotted what Nat has spotted. She's a criminal defense attorney, by the way. So yeah, this is right up her alley. But at the same time, I even if you probably weren't, you should at least have like that would come through your head. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't allege this. Maybe you shouldn't say anything about this because it could come back to bite you. Like you don't have the fifth. You don't necessarily have the fifth here. If I'm saying that, if I'm not confusing that, he doesn't really have it. So anyway, overall, there is a definite undercurrent of homophobia and religious trauma. There are several claims which are not taught, but instead all these celebrities are gay. There are actual claims which, if proven, are actionable, but these gratuitous claims reduce their credibility. I think this is what you were referring to, Miss Momo, when you were talking about when you were talking about getting the suit thrown out. Wow. So we're gonna finish off. You know what? Let me not even do a part two. Let me just quickly do a read on it and see what I'm going to find. I'm gonna skim it because I'm gonna give it a few more. I don't know what's the runtime on this. Oh, okay, that's not bad. I'm gonna give it 20 more minutes. Okay, so defendants Ethiopia Balan lunch. Okay, so these are according to Mr. Jones, whenever defendant Grange visited Mr. Combs, sponsored love album. It's no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles designated for his staff, his members. This fact was detailed by former artists and bodyguards of Mr. Combs. As a sponsor of these events, defendant Grange had a duty and an obligation to ensure that coitus workers and underage girls were not present. Oh my gosh. Okay. On YouTube channel, The Hour of Dialogue, former bodyguard Gene Deal exposed Mr. Combs' pill mixing method using a spike cranberry method. So it's probably going into how he is spiking these women and him. I'm gonna skip this part. This part. Oh my god. Funny enough, I'm actually watching a documentary done by Jay Aubrey on Jeffrey Epstein as well, but I did not expect for this to appear in the lawsuit. Why are other people named in this lawsuit? Defendant Krista Curran is the Janae Maxwell to Sean Combs. Jeffrey Epstein. This is insane, guys. This is absolute insane, you guys. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed Mr. Combs display and distribute guns from his bedroom closet in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, to questionable individuals dressed in all black. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed defendant Coram openly order her assistants to keep Mr. Combs high of gummies and pills. Defendant Coram required all employees, from the butler, the chef, to the housekeepers, to walk around with a pouch or a fanny pack filled with baking soda, GHB, and the devil's salad. Let's go with that. The devil's salad. Gummies, 100 to 250 milligrams each. A Tucci and a pink drug combination of E and baking soda. Hey, this is your life, man. I don't know how these things work. It was important to defendant Coram to have Mr. Combs' drug of choice. I'm sure I can say that immediately. Ready when he asked for it. Defendant Coram ordered coitus workers and proxies for Mr. Combs. Defendant Coram ordered and distributed E, baking soda, GHB, ket, ketamine. I'm not sure I can mention that. Can I? I hope so. And devil's juice and mushrooms. I can definitely say mushrooms to Mr. Combs and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht and in his homes in LA and New York City and Miami. On multiple occasions, defendant Coram forced Mr. Jones to carry Mr. Combs' drug pouch against his will. What the? Why do I get the feeling that he's about to be arrested for all these things, and he's just using his lawsuits as a way to give himself an out? I feel like he's gonna get arrested for all these things that he's alleging, so he's just getting ahead of it with this lawsuit. Because I don't know, man. Something this big, you should go to the police. But then again, it implicates him as Nat said in our thread. I only read two parts, two tweets of that by the way. But I did not expect to see all that she was saying. But this is implicating him anyway. So he says Justin Combs. So it says proceeds underage girls and coitus workers would engage in free calls. TVJ recruits coitus workers and attends participates in free calls. Brendan Paul work as Mr. Combs' mule. He acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns. Shows a picture of them there. I'm gonna keep moving on. Offered Mr. Jones cocaine. I don't know why all this is relevant. Again, let me please see the charges. I don't know why this is relevant. I'm not going to read it. First course of action. We finally get here. Conduct and participate in RICO enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, violation of Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act codified at 18 USC 1962. Mr. Combs incorporates by reference all preceding paragraphs and realleges them as if it was said fully herein, as respondent to period, defendant Lucian Charles, Grain Gange, Ethiopia Timarium, blah 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 blah, and see it's all set up. Section. Let's get to the law part. Section 169, Section 1962A makes it unlawful for any person who has received any income derived directly or indirectly from a pattern of racketeering activity or through a collection of an unlawful debt in which such person has participated as a principal within the meaning of Section 2, Title 18. Oh gosh, I didn't even show the screen. Sorry, I just realized. Anyway, moving on. It says to use or invest directly or indirectly any part of such income or proceeds of such income in which acquisition of or interest in or the establishment or operation of any enterprise which is engaged in or the activities of which interstate or foreign commerce. Section 1962C makes it unlawful for any individual employed by or associated with enterprise engaged in or the activities of which affect interstate or foreign commerce to conduct or participate directly or indirectly in the conduct of such enterprise affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity. Section 1962D makes it unlawful for any person to conspire or violate Section A and C in this case. Defendants are associated with each other as an enterprise with the meaning of the word enterprise defined in 18. Let's see this definition. I don't think they actually provided the definition here, so let me just quickly read that up. So Cornell Law School defines it as, well, defines this code that I just literally it's enterprise here. This is the way it is. Let me zoom in a little bit. Enterprise is section 4 of the code. It says enterprise includes any individual participation, corporation, association, or other legal entity, and any union, group, or of individuals associated in effect, although not a legal entity. So, yep, that's the enterprise part. Let's go back into the so the members of the RICO enterprise share a common purpose to enrich themselves financially and sexually at the expense of producers, musicians, writers. What do you want? Let's get to what you want. Okay, they share a common purpose. Let's get to what you want. This part, I will read this part because this. I'm sorry, I will read these two parts because this seems interesting. Upon information and belief, this RICO enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to 1999 nightclub shooting in New York City, when Mr. Combs required his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into New York City nightclub. Again, named Jennifer Lopez. Mr. Combs forced his then artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. Mr. Combs uses power, money, and influence to bribe jurors and witnesses. I hope you have proof of this. That's a serious claim, such as friend of the shooting victim, Nathaniel Ruben, who reported to law enforcement that she saw Mr. Combs and not Shine pull the trigger and shoot her friend in the face. Nathaniel Ruben later testified at Mr. Combs' criminal trial that she was tying a shoe and may not have seen who shot the gun. She later confessed that Mr. Combs paid her. Okay, interesting. The RICO enterprise continued throughout the years, including during. Wait, confess to who? If you guys know this story, let me know, guys. Let me know, because I want to know who who she confessed to. Was it him? If it was him, that means nothing. But if it was another third party, then okay, that it still means nothing if you don't know what you're actually claiming for, because I don't know it. It's just defining things. The RICO enterprise continued throughout the years, including during Mr. Combs' 10-year relationship with his Cassie Ventura. So corroborative here. According to Ms. Ventura's civil complaint, this. So you're quoting it. I thought this was eyewitness. Okay. According to Ms. Ventura's civil complaint, this RICO enterprise continued in a relationship when Mr. Combs forced her to carry his gun in her purse, forced her to engage in unwanted coitus acts with male prostitute and coitus workers, forced her to consume dangerous amounts of um, baking soda, GHB, ketamine, the devil's salad, and alcohol, and paying a member of his security team $5,000 to blow up the vehicle of Kid Cudi because he was jealous and insecure of the relationship. The RICO enterprise continued from 2007 to 2022 to present day, as evidenced by the hundreds of videos and audio recordings in the plaintiff's possession. Defendants Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina Coram, his assistants and staff all orchestrated, participated, managed, and executed the RICO enterprise by purchasing and distributing ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine. Oh, damn it, I said it. Baking soda. I'm gonna say and devil. It's too late now. I'm limited by now, so I'll just continue. By purchase and distributing firearms, by requiring the solicitation of sexual workers, encounters with prosies, sex workers, and minors, by forcing artists, creatives, musicians, producers to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. I hope they don't limit my ads for this. The RICO enterprise has functioned as a continuing unit and maintains an ascertainable trade structure. Okay, so we're not gonna. There's nothing more here. It's just showing how it's done. Can we please, for the love of God, please show me what you're charging him with? Because I can't read all of this. This is nothing. It's something. It's alleging something. It could be true, but I don't know why you're bringing this case. So you got racketeering acts. Okay, but how is it damaging you? You need to kind of show that on the prima facie of the case, because I'm not seeing that. Sorry, prima facie of the suit that you're bringing. Defendants committed multiple acts of mail fraud. Okay, but to who? You're not the police. You're not the prosecutors. You can't just bring this case on your own and be like, okay, cool, I can make these allegations, and they'll just take him. Something has happened to you. Defendants committed. Okay, fine. Compensate. Okay, okay, okay. Oh my God, this is. Wait, this is what you want? Additionally, defendants agreed that the defendant should facilitate these for after the other incident. I don't care. Okay. In furtherance, okay, moving on. Um, Plaintiffs. Okay, let's. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Paragraph 218. I mean, I probably shouldn't have done a code read, to be honest. I should have read this and then just went straight. I should have read this. I shouldn't have done a code read because there's so many irrelevant things in here that we finally got here. 218. That's insane. Page 43. I don't. Plaintiffs have been damaged in their business property, in their business or property because defendants violated 18. Okay, that's gonna be very hard to prove. I already know that's gonna be very hard to prove, and therefore he's entitled to recover. You need to show that's gonna be very hard to prove. I can already tell, and therefore he's entitled to recover damages and other remedies enumerated therein. I think the judge. I think Momo is right. The judge is gonna throw it out. The judge is gonna throw it out. There is like you haven't even you haven't presented anything to show that he's damaged your business or property. Maybe is it because he's an artist? You can also claim that he is the face of the business, so he is the business. But again, damage how? You done sex acts for him. You gained you got paid, not just for your work. He offered you money. You've accepted he offered you money. How is he damaging your business then? That's just for the music part. But all of these were you caught? I don't know. I don't I look, I don't know. Anyway, defendants' acts and omissions were actuated by actual malice. Isn't that a defamation term? Defendants' acts or omissions were actuated by actual malice or with willful and wanton disregard for the consequences suffered by the plaintiff, and or with knowledge of a high degree of probability of harm to the plaintiff and reckless indifference to the consequences of their acts or omissions. Compensatory damages alone will not be sufficient to deter such conduct in the future. You're not a prosecutor. There needs to be criminal referral to the. Okay, so he's asking for it to be referred as well. Well, if the case get dismissed, I doubt that would happen. But you should have taken this to the. I can see why you didn't take it to the prosecutor's office or at least the police, because they would turn around and look at you as, you know, as a suspect. Let's just. But this isn't the way to go around it. Like, second course of action is sexual assault and sexual harassment. Mr. Jones incorporate referencing all preceding paragraphs and realleges them as if set forth. You should have led with this, to be honest, and then provided your events, your course of events as part of this. Not now, and not as anyway. As described, Mr. Grove was frightened where his sexual assertive say blah blah. Mr. Combs followed your all attached. Yep. We know you done that. Yep. Mr. Combs suffered, continued suffered harm, physical injury, severe emotional distress, etc. Consequential damages for which is entitled to an award of monetary damages and other relief. Yep. That's true. You would be. Damages shall include, but not limited to, all damages permitted under New Jersey Racketeer Influence and Corruption Act. I wonder what it's like in New Jersey for cases like this. Plaintiff is also entitled to recover punitive damages. Okay, I mean, so he is only So he's alleging sexual assault and sexual harassment and intentional infliction of emotional distress on top of that as well. That's what I'm reading. That's what I'm guessing here. California's bystander neglection, infliction of emotional distress is also being a course of action. Mr. Jones incorporates by reference all preceding paragraphs and realleges them as third. Same thing as before. The elements of the bystander need is close related to the injury victim, is present at the scene of the injury producing event at the time, and is aware that it is causing injury to the victim, As a result of serious emotional distress, a reaction beyond that would be anticipated in a distressed witness, which is not an abnormal response. So if finally cited case law, this is the difference between this one. I see what you mean now. Miss Momo, I see what you mean. Not one case law was cited for the sexual assault and harassment here, but finding cites case law for the emotional distress. As detailed, Mr. Jones was 2 feet away from G, Eva. So, because someone else got shot, you're alleging that you should get compensation for witnessing that. That's going to be a stress. That's going to be hard. I can already, yeah, these events traumatized Mr. Jones. It caused Mr. Jones to suffer from insomnia, PTSD. I hope you can prove that with medical documents. Additionally, the fear and silence from remaining witnesses aided in the reinforcement of Mr. Combs' statement that he's untouchable. As a result, Mr. Combs and J. Combs conduct plaintiff Jones has suffered and continues to suffer harm, including severe emotional distress, anxiety, and other consequential damages, for which he is entitled award of monetary damages or other relief. If this one does, this one could make it through. I'm not saying that's definitive. I'm 5% certain that this is gonna make it through. I'm 5% certain. But if it does, this is probably the only one that you can get damages for, because again, I don't see I don't see it. I don't see him proving the sexual harassment. He could do. I don't know. Let me move on. The conduct of Mr. Combs and Mr. Combs and Mr. J. Combs described as okay, malicious, acted with disregard for rights and feelings, acted with knowledge of or reckless disregard for the fact that their conduct was certain to cause injury to plaintiff and intended to cause fear, physical harm, physical injury, or pain, suffering to plaintiff. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages. Fourth course of action: sexual assault against Jane Doe. One. Okay, so it's designed to conceal the identity of your Miami's cousin. So it's going on here. But why? Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. We already know he's not gonna be able to prove this. This is not going to go anywhere. That one is not gonna go anywhere. I already, like, no way. You believe he did that? Put Young Miami in the lawsuit. Cousin, sorry. Put Jane Doe one in the lawsuit, please. This again, I'm not gonna read this. It's the same thing. Put her in a lawsuit. She's not in a lawsuit. I don't know why. Again, he's not even in a lawsuit. I don't know what this has got to do with him. Yeah, I'm gonna stop right here. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I do not think it's gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go straight, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm not gonna continue further. It's not gonna go anywhere, in my honest opinion. I will be surprised if it gets settled. I think they should hold out for. At moment is 100% correct. Holding out, I mean, a dismissal is more likely. After reading the course of action, I don't think they have anything, because, I mean, the trafficking, I'm not. It's not that I'm not sure. I think that's unlikely. I think he is likely, but then again, the NIED, I don't think it's enough. Like, you witnessed, but then again, it's a case law for it, so could be credible. I haven't read the case law, by the way. Probably should do a part 2 to this to go into that case law, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I don't have any hope. If he settles, I would be surprised, because we already know how people treat or believe settlements and Diddy. They're gonna think he actually definitely did it. And I think based on the nature of the allegations in this suit, I don't think it's in Diddy's. It's not the best course of action to settle. It's more, if there is a route to dismissal, you should definitely explore it. I actually, I think so. I don't think in any way the claims could have merit. Let's not get it twisted, but I think, and this is just me personally, because this is just my own view of it, because I think they could be, and I don't know the legality of this around this, but there could be a statute somewhere that if you were still in, if you, even if you were coerced into the act, if you were still engaging in that act, you may not be entitled to not to damages. I have a very strong feeling that there would be a statute like that somewhere. I could be wrong. I actually think I may be wrong, because I actually think I could be wrong, because if you can prove the coercion, maybe you could be entitled to the damages. But I don't think the way he is implicating himself here, he has to prove that element, the coercion aspect of it, before even proceeding to think about damages. Because he, like as Natalie put out, he in her tweet, he has already implicated himself enough times in this filing, which to me does not make, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure there's a statute somewhere. I haven't read it. I don't know, that would preclude him from getting any sort of an inkling of it of damages, should he should this that could just be the dismissal. So going back to what Momo said earlier, because she does say that the lawyer does suck. Let me see. She did. I'm trying to find it. I don't like, yeah, the motion to specifying a must always wait to submit evidence. That's not it. I actually, no, that's not it. Whatever your claim, yes, that's the one. Okay, so whatever your claim you're filing, your point out to prove that defendant violated that particular law. Plus, you also submit citations to show other cases that are similar to support your argument. So, I mean, just based on that, I don't think he's even done that on the prima facie of his case. He has not done that. I don't think so. I think he has presented enough circumstantial evidence to maybe cause an arousal, but for what he is talking about in terms of being trafficked and doing all of this, the only thing he's presented for is the truck by Booty, that booty trap. That's all I've seen. That's not really evidence or that this person was doing this. But again, it's a massive, like I said, there could be case law out there that basically seeks or says that you have to prove that coercion occurred before you can even be entitled to damages, because again, these are criminal acts, and if you're part of it, you can't just come out and claim, well, yeah, well, I was part of it, but I want compensation because he wrote me into it. There has to be, yeah, he has to prove that. And I think that's already a hurdle, because I haven't seen proof that he was coerced to doing any of these things. For him to provide all the receipts that he had, that's the one thing that's missing from this. Like I have not seen any proof that of even, I could have missed it. Let me just put it out there. I could have missed it. I don't know. But I haven't seen any proof that Diddy even spoke to him about doing anything of the sort. It's just him saying things. So anyway, I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button of this video if you did, of this live stream. Sorry, if you did like it. I do have one more live stream coming up, and we are going through Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I have a guest joining me, and we're gonna go through the Brown Rodnick fiasco, because we gotta talk about this as well. And the fiasco basically is, there is a possibility that Johnny Depp's legal team, may have been trying to throw the case in Amber's favor at the behest of Elon Musk, because at one point Brian Rodnick was represented by Elon Musk. Um, so we'll be going through everything that was alleged on a previous stream with Jax. That was, that, and she is very close with the lawyer who is basically alleging this, Adam Woolman. So yeah, we're gonna go through everything in that stream. It's gonna be on Friday. I will let you guys know in the community notes. But for this particular stream, this case is not going anywhere. I'm very surprised. I might stop doing. I'm not gonna stop doing co-reads, but I should be selective of the cases that I'm doing co-reads for. I thought this would be a very good code read based on the allegations that I saw on Twitter. I'm like, okay, cool. These are explosive. It has the all marks, but it's really a nothing burger. There is nothing here. There is He has provided. I mean, his receipts are not even good enough. Let's be honest. I think it was overhyped a lot. Now looking back in hindsight, get it? Now looking back in hindsight, I think it was overhyped a lot because, again, like, it could be true. Some things could be true. I'm not saying he's lying, but it's all very circumstantial. He's shown text messages. That's good. That's a good start, but it doesn't show the people. The only thing that he's shown them talking about was it the bodyguard or the recorder, or the art, like, body, maybe the bodyguard or whatever. That's the only thing that is shown to show him threatening behavior. That's the only direct evidence that he has to pin someone to something. Everything else is just, it could have happened. It's just left for you. Like, the fact that he believes that Diddy sent. What if young Miami's cousin Mev just liked him and snorted a bit too much and decided to just come and do all that with you? That's how easy it is to get this claim thrown out. That is really that easy. It doesn't even have to be true. All you have to do is just give the judge that inkling, and that's it. It's gone. Like, that's just one example. Many examples. I'm not gonna go over on about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back on my video run. I'm just finishing off on my Amber Heard and Johnny Depp documentary part 3. It's gonna be out next week. I'm just editing it all right now. I'm putting it all together. It should be out next week. I am looking forward to producing more and more content. I do believe I feel ready now to really give you the highest quality of content that that you could see on this channel, and we aim to improve slowly and slowly. But thank you so much for all of you that have shown patience and rock with me on this stream. Thank you so much, Miss Momo, for your contributions. I loved your insights in regards to this case. With your experience as a paralegal. Thank you so much, Blue Queen TV, for being a true MVP. Both of you, in fact, are true MVPs, and for sticking around for this. Thank you so much, Yelly Bean, as well, for tuning in, and anyone else who may have been lurking or jumping in and out. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more and more content that we have coming out. And I'll just leave it on that note. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourself. Have a great day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And take care of yourself. Bye-bye.